Welcome to Rethink YMCA, where we explore what's next for the YMCA and the communities we serve. Today, we're stepping into a critical moment. AI is reshaping not only how people experience the world, but how we work, lead, and serve. AI is transforming both our experiences as consumers and the very nature of our work.
And what makes this moment different is that we're not all starting from the same place. Some of us are thinking, I hear the buzz, I've tried it a little, but it still feels intimidating. Others are experimenting, testing ideas, learning what works. And some are already helping others, shaping vision and treating AI as something strategic. But wherever we fall on that spectrum, the responsibility is the same. If we're not prepared as leaders, we're not ready for the mission ahead.
That's the foundation for this conversation. This isn't about chasing trends or reacting to headlines. It's about leadership readiness in a moment of real change. And the pace of that change is what's catching people off guard. We've seen innovation before, but nothing like this. AI reached millions, then billions of users faster than any technology in history. That kind of speed doesn't just shift industries, it shifts expectations.
And those expectations are already showing up in our work. Our members, our donors, our staff, they're experiencing faster answers, more personalized communication, and immediate access to information in their daily lives. And those expectations don't stay there. They follow people into their experience with the why. So this isn't something happening somewhere else. It's already shaping what people expect from us. And when we look honestly at where we are as a movement, there's a gap. Most organizations are using AI in some form, but only a small percentage of Ys have fully integrated it into how they operate.
And that gap isn't just about adopting a tool, it's about transformation. Organizations that learn to use AI intentionally are going to move faster, communicate more effectively, and ultimately expand their impact. But we have to stay grounded. AI is not the goal. Achievement, relationships, and belonging, that's still the destination. That framing matters. It shifts the conversation from how do we use AI to how do we better serve people and where can AI support that work.
And one of the reasons this matters right now is accessibility. You don't need a large team or a long implementation plan to begin. You can ask a question and generate a draft, an outline, or even a plan in seconds. That changes leadership. Because now it's not about having all the answers. It's about being willing to engage, to test, to learn, and to do that in a visible way.
And just as importantly, it's about creating an environment where your team feels empowered to do the same. Because culture will determine whether AI becomes something your organization avoids or something it uses with confidence. That's a mission-critical choice, and it has to start in the right place, not with tools, but with people. Where are people in your community facing barriers? Where are families struggling to access programs? Where are individuals feeling disconnected? Because the why has always been at its best when it starts with understanding people. That doesn't change. What changes is how we support that work.
And AI has the potential to support every part of that system. Externally, it shapes how we communicate, how we tell stories, and how we engage members and donors. Internally, it shapes how we operate, how we plan, organize, analyze, and support our teams. And this is where it connects directly to philanthropy. Because when you really look at development work, so much of it is time-intensive. Writing thank you messages, preparing proposals, organizing data, and reporting impact.
And when you make that tangible, the opportunity becomes very clear. Imagine a development director preparing for a donor meeting. Instead of starting from scratch, AI summarizes past interactions, highlights key interests, and suggests talking points. After the meeting, it helps draft a thoughtful follow-up, quickly but still personalized. That doesn't replace the relationship, it strengthens it. It gives staff more time to focus on what actually builds trust.
And that's where strategy becomes critical. This isn't about asking, where can we use AI? It's about asking, where are we stuck? Where is time being spent on repetitive work? Where are we missing opportunities to engage? Then we match the tool to the task. And we set guardrails before we scale.
Because not all uses of AI are equal. Risk increases as the potential for harm increases. Some uses are simple, brainstorming ideas or drafting emails. Others, like donor communications or board materials, require review, intention, and a human lens. And some areas require clear boundaries, especially when it comes to sensitive data or anything that impacts trust.
And this is where leadership really shows up. Technology will always move faster than policy. So it's up to us to define what responsible use looks like. And that definition has to be grounded in our values: caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility. Especially in philanthropy, where trust is everything.
When we get this right, the upside is significant. AI can act as a writer, analyst, planner, and thought partner. It helps teams move faster from idea to execution. But the key is focus. Start where the friction is highest, where your team feels overwhelmed, where time is being consumed, where there's an opportunity to create immediate relief.
In philanthropy, those opportunities are clear: donor communications, audience segmentation, grant writing, impact storytelling. AI can help you do those things more consistently, but it still requires your voice and your understanding of the community. That's the balance. AI can scale communication, but people create connection.
And that leads to a practical question: how do we use AI well? It starts with how we ask. Being clear about the perspective, being specific about the task, guiding the format, setting boundaries.
And even then, it's still a draft. Human review is essential. That's what ensures everything reflects your standards, your values, and the people you're serving.
And ultimately, this is bigger than tools. It's about culture. Responsible AI doesn't happen by accident. It has to be led. It starts with staff. If people don't feel safe to learn, they won't engage. So we lead with curiosity, not mandates. We create space to experiment. We celebrate early wins. That's how confidence builds.
It also extends to the board. This work needs to be visible and governed. Boards don't need to be technical experts, but they do need to stay informed and see this as part of their stewardship. And then there's the community, where trust is earned. That means human review, an equity lens, and thoughtful decisions about how data is used.
Because not all data belongs in every tool, and leaders need to create that clarity so staff can make good decisions. The goal isn't memorizing rules, it's building awareness, creating a habit of pausing and asking, is this appropriate? That pause protects trust.
And reinforces that this is about responsibility, not just efficiency. A shared commitment to using AI in a way that supports the mission, ensures accountability, and evolves as the technology changes.
Which brings us back to a simple, practical question. What happens when we go back to work?
Start small. Use AI for one task a day. Build consistency. Share what works. At the same time, notice patterns, where time is being spent, where opportunities exist. Then introduce it in low-risk ways. Add structure and scale with intention.
And as you do that, your role begins to shift. From creator to curator. From doing everything yourself to directing the work.
And that's really the leadership shift. Because when you zoom out, this is what the Y has always done. For more than 180 years, the Y has adapted to meet the needs of the moment.
This isn't a departure from who we are. It's the next chapter.
And the question isn't whether AI will shape that chapter.
It's whether we're ready to lead it.
Keep leading. Keep rethinking.
This is Rethink YMCA, where we explore what's next for the YMCA and the communities we serve.
Thank you for joining us.